Paragraphs are the building blocks of most composition writing, and most technical writing, report writing, and academic writing is actually divided into paragraphs. So what is a paragraph? Why do we need to structure our writing, especially our technical academic writing, into paragraphs? And what is the general process of actually writing paragraphs? These are the questions that we will respond to in this brief presentation. First, what is a paragraph? So, as we know that all sorts of writing begins with words, and those words are then grouped together into sentences, and sentences are grouped together to form paragraphs, and so those paragraphs then become the building blocks of larger compositions such as essays or stories or letters or other forms of reports. Now, what is a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of sentences that is generally a distinct part of a larger composition of writing and presents a single main theme or idea. So, the two main characteristics of a paragraph is that it is a group of sentences and it presents actually a distinct idea or theme, and generally it is a part of a larger composition such as a letter or an essay or any other academic report or prose. But in some cases we might also have independent paragraphs that are actually not part of larger compositions. Paragraphs generally consist of limited number of sentences, but the number of sentences will vary in line with the requirements of the idea or topic that is covered. So some paragraphs will be shorter, other will be larger, and it generally will depend on the context and the aims for which paragraphs are written. But generally in a composition there will be a variety of paragraphs in terms of the number of words or sentences inside that paragraph. Now, the second, why do we need to have paragraphs in our compositions or in our writings? Well, generally paragraphs actually help us in presenting our ideas in distinct way, and in terms of presenting ideas and sub-ideas and linking sub-ideas through sentences. Then the second thing because of which we need to use paragraphs in our writing is that paragraphs give structuring and organization to our ideas in a logical way. Thirdly, paragraphs help us in dividing and differentiating the various parts of larger pieces of writing. So as we know that larger pieces of writing consist of several ideas, and we need to distinctly differentiate between those ideas and to distinctly present them. And so for that, paragraphing is a helpful process. Then paragraphs help in terms of better and clearer communication between the writer and the reader. So the writer presents one idea after another in a logical way, and it helps the reader as well in terms of understanding those ideas in a clearer way or in a better way. So it helps in better reading and comprehension of the compositions or the passages. The last thing is, the other thing is that paragraphs actually help the reader in terms of breathing spaces, in terms of reflecting on and absorbing ideas one after the other that the writer has presented in paragraph-wise. So now the how of it, like what is the general structure of a paragraph? So generally, a paragraph consists of three main or three distinct parts: the topic sentence or the beginning sentence, or it is also called the key sentence, then the supporting sentences or the body, and the concluding or the last sentence or the conclusion. So generally, the topic sentence is the first sentence in a paragraph that represents the central idea of the paragraph, and subsequent sentences generally elaborate on the main idea expressed in the topic sentence. The supporting sentences sentences are a group of sentences that makes the body of the paragraph, and so these sentences are supporting sentences because these elaborate on or support the central idea or explains the central idea further, the central idea that is given in the topic sentence. This part consolidates the main idea presented in the topic sentence, and the concluding or the last sentence actually summarizes or concludes the whole paragraph. So if it is an independent paragraph, this will actually conclude the whole paragraph in terms of referring back to the topic sentence or the topic. But if it is one of the paragraphs in a larger composition, so the concluding sentence in one paragraph might also help in transitioning to the central idea in the next paragraph. So if we have another paragraph following the paragraph, the concluding sentence of the paragraph that we have just completed. Now, here is, in terms of the format, the how question also relates to the format of a typical paragraph. So there is the first sentence that is generally indented towards the right, and it's left indented. Then the lines are generally double spaced and grammatically correct. It is important that we need to present the paragraph in language that is grammatically correct, that is, the tense is correct, vocabulary is clear and relevant, and there is no spelling mistakes, and there are no punctuation mistakes. So grammatically correct paragraphs, it is important to write paragraphs that are grammatically correct. Then the characteristics of a good paragraph also include that the paragraph should have a good beginning, and then it should be there should be unity or coherence throughout the paragraph in terms of giving meaning, and the ideas in a paragraph should be logically organized, so moving from one idea to another idea. The other characteristic in terms of format is that there should be variety in terms of length of different paragraphs in a larger composition. And finally, there should be adequate conclusion to the paragraph in order for it to give us a wholesome and clear meaning of the central idea that is expressed in the paragraph. Now here is an example of, I would say, a useful paragraph that has a clear beginning where there is this topic sentence, and then there are supporting sentences over there, and then we have a final conclusion that is supporting the topic sentence. So let us begin with the topic sentence. Examinations have often been associated with fear for students. Students fear examinations mainly due to the significant impact that these have on their educational and professional careers. Examinations are also feared due to the uncertainty regarding their structure and contents. In many cases, a single examination at the end of a whole academic year decides the success or failure of students. This results in a do or die situation for students. Luck and chance also come into play when it comes to students' performance in examinations. It could be concluded that examinations lead to fear among students mainly due to their impact on the students' careers and because of the uncertainty in terms of their content and structure. So, as you see in this paragraph, this gives us a whole idea. The topic sentence indicates that paragraph is about the fear that comes as a result of examinations, or students appearing in examinations. Then the remaining sentences are supporting the main or the central idea, that is the relationship between examination and students' fear. And the concluding sentence refers back to that, and it actually summarizes the main idea and the relevant or supporting ideas related to the main idea or the central theme. So I would say that this could be an example of a paragraph that we can present as a simple example of a useful paragraph.